YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. We're going to be taking on the dwarves. And I'm going to be playing the Empire. I know I've been playing them a lot recently, but that's okay. That's what I want to play. And we're going to try and use a lesser used Lore of Magic. So I'm thinking either Bright, Celestial, or Gray. Let's do... Pit of Shades can be good. Curse the Midnight Wind would be nice. Wind Blast would only do good if I overcast it. Flame Wizard, it's not going to do a whole lot. Let's try the Celestial Wizard. Maybe Harmonic. How much does Harmonic Conversion cost? Only 6, so that's not bad. Curse the Midnight Wind. If we overcast, extended duration effect. Okay. I don't think we need Chain Lightning or Comet. Or that wasn't Chain Lightning, it was Uranus Thunderbolt. So we'll do Harmonic Convergence, Curse the Midnight Wind. I'll bring Wind Blast just in case. Just in case. Let's give this guy a Power Stone. We won't need Roiling Skies unless he has a bunch of Gyrocopters. Let's do that, and let's think for a Lord. What Lord do we want to bring? Not Carl, because I can't heal him. I'm trying to think here. What if we bring... Let's bring Boris. I don't think we'll need charge resistance because they're going up against the dwarves. We'll keep Crush the Weak, get rid of that. Give him that. Debuff ability. We're going to keep Boris on foot. And let's grab an Empire Captain as well. Just want a bunch of heroes too to potentially fight back against some of theirs. I don't think we need any other special abilities there. Can't bring any more hero units. We're going to need some great swords if we want to get the work done here. Trying to think what else we want to bring. I don't want to give the dwarves an easy artillery advantage, so I think instead of bringing any skirmishers, I'm just going to bring cannons. I kind of want a couple of cavalry so we have a little bit of fast moving potential. I really want some meat shield in case they have units that throw blasting charges. Of course, I have the cannons too. All right, so we got our magic. We don't need the horse for this guy if the other ones are not going to have a horse. So it's, I think that's bugged. Let's throw it back on there. No horse. Don't need that ability. Harmonic Convergence, Wind Blast, Curse the Midnight Wind, Power Stone. There we go. Yeah, it was bugged out. So let's get our guy back, and then let's get one more meat shield unit. If we don't need the meat shield units, then we can send them to the flank. But if he's got the blasting charges, that gives me some option to try and deflect a few of the blasting charges. I mean, if he has gyrocopters, we can try and shoot him with a cannon. If he's got artillery, we have cannons. Got a little bit of fast moving, lots of armor-piercing infantry. Several leader units to try and take down dwarf leader units, plus to debuff the dwarf infantry and try and win the battle faster. That's going to be our goal. We're going to buff, like one of our great swords, debuff the dwarves, try and cut our way through the dwarves so that we can then focus down the rest of their units. Empire Knights, let's just try and play patient. If we can get our great swords into combat without getting completely blasting charged or something like that, then we should be okay. Just in case he's got a goblobber or something, we're going to put the cannons up front. Spread them out a little so he can't, if he has artillery, he can't return fire on all mine at once. We're reaching well into his deployment zones. That should be good. Great swords! Okay, let's just spread our units out just a little bit. Not a lot.
We are Sigma's heirs!
these guys back here. Cannons. Go into defensive. Empire Knights wide to the flanks. Let's back them up a little. Get 2. And then Spearmen. Let's do something like this. So great swords, you're gonna be a group. These guys are a group. Spearmen. Cannons. Okay. Okay, he does have a cannon. I saw it. Shoot it. So we should be able to overwhelm him. Longbeards doesn't have great weapons. He does have 2 blasting charge miners, a few quarrelers, slayers on the flank. I think our build can potentially work here. Wow, he already killed one of my guns. Like he took out one of the artillery pieces of my cannon. Some of my cannons have kind of a strange angle here. But I mean, there are 3 of mine, so I think we can defeat him, but we're gonna take a lot of damage in return. Stinking dwarven cannons is so good. There we go. Getting some good damage done, and as soon as we start forcing him forward, I'll turn my attention. We do need to finish that cannon. We're gonna put Spearmen in the way of his miners with blasting charges. Okay. Let's move up. Let's keep these guys wide. Let's route that cannon. I don't want to just leave the cannon around even though it's low, because it could still potentially cause me a fair amount of damage. He's going to probably send his slayers after my Empire Knights, so let's see if we can lure him kind of on a chase, get him out of position. Okay, get into the blasting charges. Try and get around that. We're going to swing around his slayers, because we don't have to let him catch us. Start shooting these. As soon as the great swords go to here. Harmonic convergence. Buff that unit up. Get around him. How does Slayers keeping up with my cavalry? That's kind of frustrating. Let's take on his lord, which is a rune lord. It's Power Stone. How well armored are these guys? Pretty well armored. I don't know if this wind blast is going to work because there's too much armor. Did okay. Come on, freaking Slayers! How hard is it to stay away from the Slayers? I should have just charged them. Let's intercept those Slayers. Keep these guys on target. Let's keep moving through. Pushing over here. Great cannons. Okay, let's bring this unit back because we've kind of lost track of it. Harmonic convergence. Let's buff this unit over here. Let's keep these guys moving. We gotta intercept these Slayers. Swing back around. There we go. Got the Slayers pinned down. Group 2, keep focusing here. Let's focus on the Rune Lord. We're gonna go get the gunners. I'm not happy with the Quarrelers still being alive, but get the guns because they're armor piercing and they're shooting my swordsmen in the back. Why? We had a Power Stone. What the? Doesn't seem to be doing much. Okay, guns should be dead. we should be able... His Slayers are going to commit against our Great Swords, which is a mistake, so we're going to make his Skirmishers pay for that. I'm hitting some of my own men with the cannons, too. Let's refocus the cannons out here on these regrouping units, so we're less likely to hit our own men. Let's take our Wizard back to a safe distance, because he's getting a little bit beat up. Let's pull through the lines with our cavalry, because he's trying to get to me with the Slayers. Okay, clean those up. Let's put some harmonic convergence out there. Buff our swordsmen. Okay, his Slayers got caught. His Rune Lord's trying to go after my Wizard. Let's pin down that Rune Lord. No Wizard for you. Okay, should be just a matter of wrapping this up here. Alright, let's get our cavalry swung back in here. Dwarf's not going down real easy, but I'm pretty sure we've got this one under control. Wow, our magic recharge is just horrible. So there's one magic every 28 seconds. Let's put a rear charge over here on these Longbeards. I'm not really sure how the Longbeards have survived that long, to be honest. I think the Rune Lord is toast. He's gonna put some Slayers through here to get on my cannons. The cannons have done their job at this point. Let's get this other Rune Lord or Runesmith. Cycle charge this guy. All right, so there we go. Empire victory using a Celestial Wizard. Let's go Empire. Whoops, I don't need the caps. Empire versus Dwarves. I don't know why it's not showing my save games there either, but save succeeded. Let's go check out the replay so we can get some cinematic shots here. But worked out pretty much the way I thought it would. I don't know, I mean, bringing standard Longbeards can be okay if I would have brought state troops, but I didn't. And he brought one cannon. The problem with that is the Empire can field so much good artillery. I think if you're going to commit to a cannon against the Empire, you kind of have to commit to multiples. And if you do, like if he would have had 2 or 3 cannons, he might have defeated my cannons because of the superior nature of the Dwarf cannons. Now, they cost a little more as a challenge. Dwarf everything cost a little more. And with the 5 great swords, he was going to be hard-pressed to get rid of those guys. He could bring Longbeards with great weapons, but they're not fantastic against great swords. They're okay. They would do better than the regular Longbeards, but, you know, they're okay. He had the Quarrelers. I don't think Quarrelers are necessarily a bad pick. Thunderers, they can be a solid pick, but I don't know. In the current state of the game, with the way that the line of sight gets obstructed, I almost feel like it's really hard to make him useful. He had 2 Runesmiths and a Rune Lord. Kind of surprised he wasn't able to chew through my infantry faster by using those, but who knows. Let's go see how well he used it. Let's go. I wasn't paying super close attention to see how well he used his Wrath and Ruin and his other abilities there. So he was obviously hoping to buff his guys through the fight and probably Wrath and Ruin some of my key units, but I think, again, it's not all that uncommon for Dwarf players to get challenged by artillery because a lot of people know Dwarves have artillery, and so they decide to bring some. Look at that, just the very first shot took out one of my artillery pieces. And then I missed and, like, blasted a bunch of Slayers. Yeah, here it's just a matter of he just gets outgunned. Quality-wise, again, 1-for-1, the Dwarf Cannon, to me, feels a lot better. Take a look at the stats here, too. 213 armor-piercing missile damage. 223. There's probably an accuracy thing here, though, and a rate of fire that I would assume that the accuracy or rate of fire for the Dwarves is actually better. Could be wrong. Yeah, he's gonna get toasted. Yeah, I mean, the Thunderers, I mean, that's just a unit you're going to have to try and protect against cavalry with the Empire. And the Slayers, I mean, they're not bad. They still don't kill cavalry particularly fast. They got a little bit of a buff to their armor-piercing damage, which is quite a lot better. They're at 16. So they're going to be pretty effective if they can get in prolonged combat, but they're still extremely weak to a cavalry charge. So what you saw me do here was actually kind of a mistake. I come up and I try and go around the Slayer. No. What you need to do is just come up, charge straight into the Slayer, back out and around. Because you're going to do tremendous damage to the Slayer on the charge because they don't have any armor. And they're going to get hammered by it. And again, miners with blasting charges, not a bad pick, but they can be countered with stuff like this too, where I'm just going to use my spearmen to feed into these guys so that they don't get to throw their charges. They don't even stop to throw their charges at my spearmen. So my opponent may have mismicroed that. So the miners end up kind of getting wasted here. My cannons can now just kind of continually pound whatever unit they choose to here. A little bit far back here with my leaders, but my leaders, I was going to get the spell off first, so here comes the Curse of the Midnight Wind. So if we watch what it does, this greatsword comes in, and immediately these guys are going to lose 30 armor and 26 melee attacks. So it does get the extra rune in here, Rune of Oath and Steel. I mean, he's dropping all kinds of runes, jumps him up to 160. And we got hit by the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin. But they must have nerfed what this rune does, because used to that thing would just freaking wreck my whole unit, but it's only doing so much damage. I mean, he used his Wrath and Ruin here. It looks like he used it all the way across the board. But the Harmonic Convergence and the Curse of the Midnight Wind still took its toll. Curse of the Midnight Wind is still in effect. So you can see I'm going to debuff his 3 main units for a considerable portion of time, allowing my greatswords to start to get an advantage. Empire Knights into his skirmishers. Yeah, again, I tinkered around with these Slayers way too much in the flank. I should have just hammered them with a big charge, and that would have put an end to them a whole lot quicker. Yeah, otherwise, this is pretty much a straight-out grind-out fight, which is what I wanted here, right? All I needed to do was get past blasting charges, and I'm pretty much home free because the greatswords are going to be a superior unit to what he's chosen. It's funny watching some of them get knocked around by these dwarves, though. Just check out his Rune Lord up close. Rune Lord fighting up against Boris. There's a Celestial Wizard. Empire Captain up in there, too. Boris got knocked on his butt. So yeah, Boris doesn't have an armor-piercing attack, which is why it took me so long to tank out this Rune Lord. So I mean, I don't know, the dwarf player's doing a good job of using his runes. It's not like he's wasting them, per se. It's just not enough. Not enough to dig him out of the hole. And these gunners were actually getting some nice damage into the back of my greatswords who are fighting as Slayers. But they're going to get toasted now. Slayers are just really going to struggle against greatswords. You can see they're not getting kills real fast now. A couple of units of Slayers. Could be a different story in here now. My guys are going to get flanked. Cannons trying to do their work against the Quarrelers with the strange terrain. They're bouncing cannonballs off the ground. There comes the Empire Knights. Again, going to punish these dwarves. And then this is where I kind of sneak through the lines. Sometimes when you're getting chased by Slayers, this is another downside of Slayers. You think you can get them into cavalry, and sometimes you can, but like right here where they start chasing me, I can just swing through the lines, and the Slayers will get stuck on the infantry, whereas the cavalry can sometimes push their way through these units. Because hitting the enemy unit in the back and then pushing through. And see, now his Slayers can't get to my cavalry, and we're free. Hammer of Karak. It's pretty sweet. Let's watch this Rune Lord coming after my wizard. Dude, those stunties carrying that Rune Lord around, they're pretty fast, considering all that weight they got on their back. I like using some of the different wizards as the Empire. I think too often some of these other wizards, like the Celestial Wizard, Bright Wizard, Grey Wizard, they kind of get forgotten. They can still be useful. I think in this case, you know, I didn't get as much magic out of him as I wanted, but that Curse of the Midnight Wind lasted for almost a minute right in the center, and then I got 2 Harmonic Convergence cast. So, 2 or 3 maybe even. which buffs the attack of the greatswords pretty significantly. Helps them out a lot. So yeah, anyway, like you all saw originally, this is just wrapping this one up now. But that was my goal here. I'm probably going to be playing some more Empire for a while, just because I like, I want to mess with some of the different combinations they have. So I might go in and set up some builds that try and capitalize on stuff like a Bright Wizard and Gray Wizard, stuff like that. Just try and use some of their other support units. Can we make like a Warrior Priest focused army? So I'll have to come up with some different armies with the Empire. Just since they have such a variety, it'd be fun to come up with a variety of different armies to use with them, so that it's not just Gelt meta all the time, right? Which is kind of funny, because, I mean, the Gelt meta is decent, but I don't know, maybe I just haven't played against a good player, like a really good player with it yet. I don't feel like the Gelt meta is as good as people seem to think it is. It kind of seems like it's a one-trick pony, and the steam can run out pretty quick. But thank you to Mugwai Man for playing a good game against me here. It's the mighty Dawi. So the double Runesmith, Rune Lord actually used to be a pick that I enjoyed, although I didn't necessarily pick all the rest of the same units. But I mean, those guys did take a nerfing. So they're not going to work quite as good as they used to, but they can still be good. Like I said, it depends on how they get used. Rune of Wrath and Ruin is still quite good if you're focused on the right units, and you use it to support some other efforts to take that unit out. But again, my Greatsword just got plenty of work done here. Some of them even picked up a Chevron along the way. And then one Empire Knight getting quite a few more kills than the other because it got delayed, but the Cannon's also a key unit here. And then, of course, the Celestial Wizard doing some buffing along the way. He actually did pretty good damage to that one unit with the Wind Blast. It wasn't massive damage, but it was decent damage. If the Dwarves weren't so armored, it would do a lot more damage to him, but their armor definitely makes them resistant to Wind Blast, along with the fact that they're resistant to magic damage, which is why I didn't bring a lot of damage-focused spells with the Celestial Wizard. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed that. Appreciate you being here to watch this, and I enjoy making this content for you tonight. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you back in some more Total War battles soon.